Hello, dancers, and welcome to my page. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I would be ever so grateful. I am going to do my darndest to put out one video a week. All of the videos that I will be putting out are just things that I personally love, exercises, movements, advice, inspiration, tips, everything that's really helped me along the way as a dancer and a mover. Today, I would like to share with you a couple of exercises that I really love. These exercises keep our ankles durable and safe from injury. So whether you are a dancer, you wear heels, you're a pole dance hobbyist, enthusiast, or a midnight ballerina, do these exercises. They will really help you to stay durable, and they will also advance your dance. Let's begin with our first exercise. You don't necessarily need a block for this exercise, but if we tend to have any sort of ankle supination or pronation, it's just a good way to correct that. And also, it allows you to become a little bit more mindful of what's in fact engaging. So, we're going to take the block, or if you have a tennis ball, that's even better, or any sort of like squishy ball. But I have a block. So I'm going to use a block, and I'm going to place it right above my ankles in between my calves and shins. And I'm going to go ahead and squeeze the block in between my calves and shins. Now I'm going to ground my feet. This exercise is going to really assist in strengthening our calf muscles, which contributes to the stability of our ankles. What we're going to do here is we're going to rise up to the balls of our feet. You don't even have to lift too high, lift to where you're comfortable. I'm going to also suggest placing your hands on your hips, or if you want to place one hand on a wall, you can. I would just challenge your balance. Take a big exhale. Depress the rib cage, navel in towards the spine. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. We're going to transfer our weight forward into the balls of our feet. And then we're going to begin to lift our heels slowly up from our mats. Now, even though we are focusing on what's happening through the calves, you're still going to feel the activation through the feet as well, and some different areas of the calf, like the peroneal muscles. We can also focus on engaging the quad to straighten the front of the leg, and then we're going to lower on down. Now, you don't have to do a whole ton of these, especially if you're doing this before work, even just, 4. Whatever you can fit in is better than nothing. If you're putting any of these exercises into your trainings, then you can treat it as that. You can do sets of 4, maybe 10 to 15 repetitions. Listen to your body, right? Don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you're not going to want to do it again. So even if you're just micro exercising throughout the day, it is still very beneficial. Even if you're at your counter in the morning while you're waiting for coffee and you're just lifting and lowering, it's better than nothing, right? And especially if you're limited for time, just do what you can when you can. All right, so that's one exercise. Second exercise, you will need a block for this. Now, I understand if you don't have a block at work and you don't want to bring one, that's fine. You can just place your hand on a wall. You don't need the block at all. But it is, especially for this exercise, this is going to be so helpful to not only build strength, but mobility. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the block beside our wall or pool or chair, whatever you have. And we're going to choose one foot to place to the center of the block first. Now I'm going to press my weight into the ball of my foot, and I'm just going to hold on to my pole here just to make sure the block isn't going to roll out from underneath me and I feel pretty secure. And I do. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to keep the other leg bent. We can place the foot just above the ankle. What I want to do first, keeping that supporting leg straight, I want to think of pressing my heel down towards the ground. So I want to really lengthen through that calf, lengthen through the lower part of the calf, the soleus, the lower part. Nice little stretch for that area too, which is very important, especially if we are dancing in heels a lot, or even if we're just walking around or running. Now from here, we're going to challenge ourselves by rising up to that demi point. Again, keeping those calves nice and strong, feeling the peroneal muscles as well. Those muscles also attach underneath the foot. They allow for any sort of plantar flexion, any point. So what we're doing right now. And we're just going to lower that heel down. So again, this exercise is great because we're not only lengthening the muscle, but we're strengthening it as well. So important for all types of dancers and movers. So same thing as I mentioned before, do a few on each side. Don't overdo it or else you'll never do it again. All right. Just do what makes you feel good. Okay. Next exercise here, no block, no tools for this. This you can do anywhere. So really helpful to focus on perhaps the muscles we don't normally focus on or think of when we're dancing. The peroneal muscles and the tibialis anterior and posterior. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our feet about hip width apart. And we're going to bend our knees here and we're going to hinge forward from the hips. So my shoulders are kind of diagonal from my hips here. Now we want a lot of movement and level in our body. So we want the level in our body and allow for movement in the hips because we are going to be focusing on ankle inversion and eversion. Okay, so different from pronation and supination. Think inversion, eversion. There's going to be a lot of movement from the femur, from the hips. Okay, so coming into a nice deep bend, pretend like we're skiing. I don't ski, but I'd assume, if we were trying to act it out in charades, this is something that we would do. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shift my weight to the outside of my right foot. And as I do that, I'm going to actively flip the inside of my foot in the direction of the ceiling. Okay, so this ankle here is coming into a state of inversion. The opposite ankle is going to evert. So I'm going to allow that knee to drop in. I'm going to feel that movement through the femur. And I'm going to think of lifting the outside edge of my foot up towards the ceiling. So I have one foot in ankle eversion and one foot in ankle inversion. And we're just going to kind of ski back and forth. So we're staying really, really active here. I kind of think of like the sides of my ankles doing like a sit up. It's that sort of tension. All right. So same thing here. Even if you're doing this as a part of your warm up, do 8, 10, 15, whatever you're comfortable with doing. This next exercise, not the sexiest of exercises, but same thing, still incorporating ankle inversion and eversion. So I'm going to again start in the same way, deepen my plie here, and now I'm going to open my hips and I'm going to have both ankles in a state of inversion. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually curl my toes. And then from here, I'm going to pass through neutral and I'm going to evert through both ankles. Knees will be touching and I might even deepen my plie just to feel a bit more activation through those peroneal muscles. So we're flexing our feet here as our ankles evert, and then we're going to curl those toes as our ankles invert. I tell you, not the sexiest of exercises, but this exercise alone has saved my life plenty of times, not only in my dancing, but in real life scenarios. One time I was in Bali and I was going on a hike in flip flops. Yes, I know, dummy. But I was in a very rocky area and it was slippery. And I was walking, following our guide, and I completely wiped out. Flip flop went flying, rolled over my ankle, but I was fine. I was fine. I was so shocked. And I swear it's because of these exercises. These few exercises that I shared with you today is or are something that I incorporate in most of my trainings, even if it's just for a tiny little warm up. Anyways, I hope you found that helpful, my loves. Please subscribe. Love you. Happy and safe dancing, everyone.